My beloved child, you are moving, not just from one place to another, but from one version of yourself into another, and this message is not here to frighten you. It is here to awaken something you have felt for a long time but could never explain, that quiet restlessness inside you, the feeling that where you are now is not where you are meant to stay forever. And as you sit with these words, you may feel a strange mix of fear and excitement, because deep down you know that change is approaching. And the picture you imagine of this new place is not only a location, it is a symbol, a doorway into a life that feels more aligned, more alive, more true to who you are becoming. And even if you cannot see it clearly yet, your heart already recognizes it, because this move is not about escaping your past, it is about stepping into your future. And as you allow yourself to feel this calling, you realize that everything you have experienced, every struggle, every delay, every unanswered question, was preparing you for this moment, guiding you toward a path that is now opening before you. And with each breath you take, you step closer to a life that feels purposeful, meaningful, and filled with new beginnings, because you are not running from where you were, you are moving toward who you are meant to be. You feel it growing stronger with every passing day, that quiet restlessness that refuses to let you stay comfortable, the sense that your current life, as familiar as it feels, is only a temporary chapter and not the full story. And as you sit with this feeling, you begin to notice how often your mind drifts toward the idea of somewhere else, not just a place on a map but a space where you feel more alive, more connected, more free. And this vision does not come from nowhere, it is being shaped by every moment you felt unseen, every time you wondered if your life could hold something greater, and now that vision is calling you forward, asking you to trust that the fear you feel is not a warning to stop, but a sign that you are standing at the edge of growth, because change always feels uncertain before it feels right, and as you imagine the door in front of you, you realize that it was never locked. It was only waiting for you to gather the courage to reach for the handle, and with that realization your heart begins to beat faster, not from panic but from anticipation, because beyond that door is not an escape from your past, it is a continuation of your story, one where you finally allow yourself to choose something new, something aligned with who you are becoming. And as you prepare to step through, you understand that you are not leaving behind everything you were, you are carrying your lessons, your strength, your resilience into a future that feels unknown yet promising. And with each breath you take, you feel yourself moving closer to a life that feels more honest, more meaningful, and more true to the person you are meant to be. You can feel it now even when you try to ignore it, that pull in your chest that feels like a memory of a future you have not yet lived, a quiet knowing that somewhere beyond your current reality a different version of your life is waiting. And as this awareness grows, you begin to notice how the world around you feels temporary, like a chapter that is coming to its natural end, not because it failed you, but because you have outgrown it. And in this understanding you start to see that this move is not about running away, it is about answering a call that has been echoing inside you through moments of restlessness, through dreams of something more, through the feeling that you are meant for a wider horizon. And as you imagine this place you feel both fear and hope, because it represents change, possibility, and a chance to rediscover yourself, and with every breath you take you grow closer to the life that is waiting to welcome you, reminding you that you are not losing anything, you are becoming something new. You begin to realize that this move is not only about changing a location, it is about changing the rhythm of your life, the way you wake up, the way you breathe, the way you see yourself in the world, and as this understanding grows you start noticing how your heart reacts differently to the idea of tomorrow, not with fear, but with a quiet excitement. Because deep down you know that staying where you are would mean staying inside a version of yourself that no longer fits, and while that truth may feel heavy, it is also freeing, because it allows you to imagine a life that feels more aligned, more honest, more true to your inner voice, and as you reflect on everything you have experienced, the moments of doubt, the silent struggles, the nights you wondered if this was all there is, you realize that they were shaping you, preparing you to recognize this calling when it finally appeared, and now that it has, you feel a sense of purpose guiding you forward, reminding you that this move is not about leaving behind who you were, but about honoring it by choosing who you will become, and with every step you take toward this new chapter you feel yourself growing stronger, more confident, more open to the possibilities that await you, because you are not just moving to a new place, you are moving into a new life. You begin to feel the shift long before anything around you changes, as if your soul has already started packing its memories and dreams for a journey your mind is only beginning to understand, and in the quiet moments when you sit alone you notice how your thoughts drift toward a future that feels unfamiliar yet strangely comforting, like a place you have seen in a dream but never visited in real life. And as this feeling grows you realize that the version of you waiting on the other side of this move is not someone new, it is the part of you that was always meant to live freely, confidently, and without apology, the part that learned to hide behind routines and expectations to feel safe, and now that part is stepping forward, asking you to trust the process, to release the fear of the unknown, to believe that your life is meant to expand beyond the limits you once accepted. And as you imagine yourself in this new chapter you feel a gentle excitement rising, a sense that you are not losing anything but gaining perspective, clarity, and courage, and with every breath you take you grow closer to a life that feels more aligned with who you truly are, because this move is not about changing your address. It is about changing your identity into the one you were always meant to become. You reach a moment in life when staying begins to feel heavier than leaving, when the walls around you no longer feel like protection but like reminders of how much you have changed, and in that realization a deep ache rises inside you, not because you hate where you are, but because you know you have outgrown it. And as you walk through the same streets, the same rooms, the same memories, you feel as if you are watching a version of yourself who learned to survive here, who learned to be strong here, who learned to dream quietly here, and now that version is looking at you, asking you to honor them by choosing more. And in that silent conversation you begin to understand that this move is not about escaping pain, it is about stepping into possibility, because every chapter that shaped you was preparing you for the next one, and as fear rises you remind yourself that fear always appears before growth. Because the unknown feels dangerous to stay. Small to stay safe, and yet deep inside you there is another voice, calmer, stronger, clearer, telling you that you are ready, that you deserve a life that feels expansive, alive, meaningful, and as you listen to that voice you feel courage replacing hesitation, you feel hope replacing doubt, you feel trust replacing resistance, and with every breath you take you move closer to a future that is calling your name, not as a threat, but as a promise. Because you are not running from where you were. You are rising toward who you are meant to become. You can feel it now in the way your chest tightens when you think about tomorrow, in the way your breath changes when you imagine a life that does not yet exist but already feels real, as if time itself is bending toward you, pulling you forward into something you cannot fully see but deeply recognize, and this feeling is not sudden, it has been growing quietly inside you for years, in moments when you felt lost. In nights when you stared at the ceiling wondering if this was all there was, in mornings when your heart felt heavier than your body, and now all of those moments are rising together, forming a single truth that you can no longer ignore, that you are meant for more than staying, more than repeating, more than surviving. And as you stand at this invisible edge between who you were and who you are becoming, fear tries to speak first, reminding you of everything you could lose, of the comfort you might leave behind, of the people who may not understand your choice, but beneath that fear there is another voice, softer yet stronger, telling you that nothing real is ever lost when you move toward your truth, and as you listen to that voice you begin to feel courage building inside you, not loud and sudden, but steady and unbreakable, like a fire that does not burn but warms, guiding you through the uncertainty ahead. And in this moment you understand that the future is not waiting for you somewhere far away. It is already reaching for you through every choice you make, every step you take, every moment you choose growth over comfort, and as you finally accept this calling you feel a release, as if the weight of staying has fallen away, and you step forward not knowing exactly where you are going, but fully trusting that wherever you land will be where you were always meant to be. You slowly begin to realize that the place you are moving toward is not only a destination on a map but a reflection of who you are becoming, because the longing you feel for change is not coming from outside, it is rising from within, shaped by every moment you felt unseen, every dream you delayed, every part of yourself you kept hidden to survive. And now those hidden parts are stepping forward, asking you to trust that you are worthy of a life that feels expansive, alive, and deeply yours. And as you imagine this new chapter you feel a calm strength replacing the chaos, a sense of purpose settling where doubt once lived, and in this awareness you understand that you are not searching for a place to belong, you are becoming it, and as you step forward you carry this truth with you, knowing that wherever you go, you bring your courage, your resilience, and your hope, and that is what will turn any place into home. You wake up one morning with a strange stillness in your chest, not emptiness, but a quiet understanding that something irreversible has begun. And as you sit in the silence you realize that you are no longer the same person who once begged the world to explain itself to you, because now you are the one who is beginning to understand that every struggle you faced, every tear you swallowed, Every night you questioned your worth was shaping you for this moment of movement, and as the sun rises, you feel time itself urging you forward, whispering that you were never meant to stay in one place forever, that your soul was designed to travel, to grow, to transform, and in that whisper you hear your own strength calling back, reminding you that fear has never stopped you. It only taught you how to be brave, and as you gather your memories like invisible luggage, you understand that this journey is not about leaving people behind. It is about carrying their lessons with you into a future that feels wider than your past, and in this realization you take your first step, not with certainty, but with faith in your ability to adapt, to rise, to become more than you were, and as you walk you feel your name changing, not on paper, but in meaning, because you are no longer defined by where you came from, you are defined by where you are going, and this path, though unknown, feels like home. As you continue walking forward, you begin to feel the invisible weight lifting from your shoulders, not because your past disappears, but because it no longer defines your direction, and in this lightness you realize how much you were carrying without noticing, expectations that were never yours, fears that were planted by others, limits that felt permanent only because you believed them. And as you release these burdens you feel space opening inside you, room for new dreams, new courage, new purpose, and in that space you start to hear your own voice more clearly, not the one shaped by doubt, but the one shaped by hope, and as this voice guides you forward you understand that every ending is also a beginning, and that by choosing to move you are choosing to honor the life that is still waiting to be lived.